of your shirt.
JJ.
When you fell up to heaven, did it hurt?
Prager.
It takes someone with a big head to take their own cousin to bed. If a snake bites your neck, you are toast.
Snake guy.
Holy shit, there are so many hoes.
That's true.
And we're always looking for more. It's the NEAS Final Four.
Ahoy, mateys. Ron DeSactit's here, a.k.a. Pirate Ron. I love to make human-type jokes, Ella saying, my name is Pirate Ron, even though you know I'm not a pirate. I love sandwiches, and I love to eat them without a knife and fork. I don't use a knife and fork to eat my sandwiches. Hee-ha. Imagine, though, if I was a pirate and I had a little pirate bird, he segment time. Shively Me Tinders, this week we had on Larry Elder, one of my opponents for Repub Prez, to discuss the very famous Three Stooges prank we made to him years ago.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today we are joined, very, very excited to be joined by the one and only, the sage from South Central, Larry Elder. He is running for President of the United States, the highest office in the land. Larry, thanks for joining us today.
It is my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You are the first official presidential candidate, I believe, that we've had on, so that's very, very exciting. Now, before you got into politics, you were obviously a media man yourself. You were a legendary radio host many, many years. I grew up in the Los Angeles area, so I was very fond in my teenage years. KABC, the KABC show. I had two brothers, and we were always up to no good. We were real troublemakers, always causing trouble. But, I think we got a lot of guidance from your show, even being kind of ne'er-do-wells. We were able to look at you and say, this is a guy who is wise. There's a reason why you have that name, the Sage from South Central. Would you agree that you are a guy who's wise?
Well, I agree that my father was wise, and that's where I get a lot of my wisdom, my father and my mother.
And of course, you came close to actually becoming governor of California last year. The recall attempt on Gavin Newsom, had it gone through, you would have been the governor. And of course, your radio show, of course, now your presidential run. But I think everybody who's watching knows you are most well known for the famous Three Stooges prank call to your show. How did that Three Stooges prank, the famous Three Stooges prank, change your life and change your career?
I don't recall a Three Stooges prank call to my show.
Oh, it was famous. The guy said his name was Mo Youngman, and he had been told to call in by Curly Middle-Aged.
My name is Mo Youngman, and it was actually Curly Middle-Aged that told me about your show.
So, Mo, what's your reaction to the 6-3 ruling?
Do you get what I'm saying? Mo Youngman and Curly Middle-Aged. Do you get it?
I got you.
That's all you wanted to
Larry
say?
Elder.
He was, I guess, bringing light to your name, Larry Elder.
You got the wrong host. That's never happened to me.
No, it did definitely happen to you. It's a famous call. Everybody knows of this call. It's the famous Larry Elder Stooges call. Like if it were,
you have it. Can you play part of it?
I don't have it, but I do have like here's Tucker Carlson commenting on it.
I have fond memories of the great Stooges prank to Larry Elder. I think that's when things peaked. It's all been downhill since that day.
That sounds like artificial intelligence. It's very clever, but no, that never happened.
Well, it did definitely happen. Curly Middle-Aged, and then they kept calling back. And what do you mean it never? How are you going to sit here, Larry, and tell me with a straight face that prank call never happened?
Okay, watch me. It never happened.
Larry,
That's how I'm able to do that.
Larry, can I tell you something? This is going to blow your mind. I made that prank call. And so that's how I know that it happened with absolute certainty. And for you to claim that it didn't when famous media figures like Ben Shapiro remember it.
Larry Elder Stooge's prank was a huge moment for America and for free speech.
Very, very clever.
Yeah, just like the prank. Do you get it, right? Larry Elder, and then Mo, Curly, and Larry. And then so the prank caller, me, said, my name is Mo Young Man, Larry Elder, Curly middle-aged.
Well, again, that's very, very clever.
Mo, was that supposed to be clever or funny?
By the way, speaking of clever, in order for me to get up there on that debate stage, I need 40,000 individual donors.
Wise guy.
Go to my website, LarryElder.com, and donate $1. Donate $1. Donate $1 so I can get up there on the debate stage.
Nobody who's watching my thing's gonna donate. Sorry, man. But good luck, and it was a famous prank, and it seems like some of your opponents actually remember the prank also.
Someone told me Larry Elder is running for president in 2024. I guess that's the guy from that famous Three Stooges prank.
There's Ron DeSantis. Thanks, Larry. You have a good day.
You too. Take care.
One of our most successful segments ever was the Master Debate. This week we recreated it, talking to a weird conspiracy author and plastic surgeon, and another guest that has other interests.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I'm, of course, your host, Dean Bateman, and today we're joined by two fantastic guests. He is an author. He is a renowned plastic surgeon,
facial plastic surgeon,
and he also is an author, and he also is a former Alabama football star. He is Dr. Galen McCullough. Galen, thank you so much for joining us today, sir.
Well, it's my pleasure to be with you. I've been looking forward to this.
And we're also joined by, he is the owner and the proprietor of Jackrabbit Love Tours. It is Jimmy Jackrabbit Smith. Jimmy, thanks for joining us.
Hey, you're welcome. I've always wanted to do a show like this.
So the first question I'm going to ask, do you feel like America is deteriorating right now? And I will go first to you, Jackrabbit.
I think in some ways it definitely is deteriorating. Like when I go into these clubs and I see these playrooms, there's often Kleenex all over the place. Like it feels like when people are going to use the playroom, they should maybe clean up after themselves and not make the workers go in there and touch their tissue.
Yeah, I agree. Dr. McCullough, how do you feel about that some of these playrooms are being left in a really bad situation and people just aren't taking a lot of personal responsibility nowadays?
I think it's a reflection of our society. We seem to have lost pride in many things.
Absolutely, and cleanliness being one of them, and the cleanliness of the playrooms. Do we think that there should be a viable third-party candidate in America? I'll go to you first, Jackrabbit.
I think it's always smart to add a third. You may think that you're getting the best out of two, but if you can add like a third or even a fourth, that could really spice things up and make things more interesting in ways that you haven't really considered.
Yeah, that's a kind of a good. What about you, Dr. McCullough? How do you feel about a viable third-party candidate?
I think both parties need a wake-up call in America right now.
But as far as a third party, adding a third to the mix, just mixing things up a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yes, I think that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Is that I think a third party candidate will get the attention perhaps of both parties, because then
that's often what happens, Dr. McCullough, is both parties end up giving their attention to the new party because they're kind of less interested in the old party that they've been dealing with for so long, and the new party comes in and it's like, hey, we're both interested in mixing it up.
They know that the only way they can win the election is to get the votes of the third party candidate, and so they'll start making.
They want the third party candidate to finish first, and they're worried about their needs. Definitely. What do you think America needs right now on that topic? We'll go to you first, Jackrabbit.
I do think we need some sort of bipartisan unity. And at the end of the day, we're all the same type. We have the same stuff going on, you know?
Yeah.
Me and my wife, we kind of started hooking up with a socialist couple. And while I was watching the guy just fuck my wife really hard, I realized we're exactly the same as each other.
So what do you think about that, Dr. McCulloch, that when Jimmy was noticing this gentleman pile drive his wife with his gigantic socialist cock, that he kind of realized that, hey, we're all the same and that we should maybe reach around across the aisle, perhaps?
We're being divided in every way you can possibly divide a people. Whether it's in our home or whether it's in our schools or
whether it's in the back of a Chevy, or whether it's in the restroom at a local mall. If you could have one debate question to ask both candidates at a presidential debate, what would you ask them? Jack Rabbit, let's go to you first.
Show me your cock and pussy. That is exactly what I'm looking for from our elected leaders.
Okay, so Jimmy wants to see their cock and pussy. What would you ask him, Dr. McCulloch?
Well, I don't think I'd ask him that question for sure.
I have a question for you, Dr. McCulloch. How come you're still on the call, sir?
How can we do what?
How come you're still on the call? I have it in my contract. I'm not allowed to hang up on a guest. Can you please hang up?
I sure will.
Thank you.
Come on, man.
Hello.
Oh, hi, Dr. McCulloch. How are you?
Good. Good. Who is this?
This is James Raymond, just calling you back here. Just returning your. You left me a message here, an email, I guess. You CC'd your lawyer in there as well, which I'm not sure why that happened, but.
Well, I just generally do that if there's anything that could potentially be an issue.
Okay.
That's just routine. That's routine on my part. I mean, you may think this is funny, but it's not funny. It's not funny to tamper with people's reputation and to set people who come on your program, and you don't know the extent to which I went this morning to get up at a meeting where I'm here lecturing to plastic surgeons, and I am at this meeting, and I got up early and got dressed and got showered to be on your show. And when I get on the show and then I'm bombarded like this, it doesn't make me feel very good, sir.
Do you want to know what my issue too is? The other guest that was on the show, I talked to him and said, the other guest is saying he doesn't want it posted. Now he's saying that it's an infringement on his free speech if we don't post it. He's insisting that we do post it.
Oh, I think he's on there with you a lot. I think you two guys are an act. I think it was a setup. I think you two are an act. And I think I was the subject of an act.
We love to call Rudy Giuliani and remind him that he married his cousin. Recently, though, a transcript came out detailing nasty stuff Rudy said to an assistant. So we did the unthinkable. We called him and didn't mention his cousin.
I'd rather not be a rat scumbag. Thank you. So now we'll go to Paul in New Jersey.
Mr. Giuliani, pleasure to speak with you.
Pleasure to speak with you.
My uncle was a Vietnam War veteran. He recently passed away a couple of years ago.
I'm sorry, and
also
God bless him for his service.
Yeah, he was an accomplished writer as well, and a poet of sorts. Kind of an interesting guy, you know. But he was a published author and everything, and he had an interesting poem, very short one, that I wanted to read that I think sort of sums up the situation we're in currently now. All right, here it is. I'm just going to read it. Your tits belong to me.
Okay,
Give
that's
them
all right.
to me.
I tell you what.
The station's on condition Bravo. Myers, Harrison, Goodall, everybody out!
Why don't you get a job? Jeez. Come on. We got important things to talk about. This sort of interferes with people's ability to discuss things that are really important.
Batter down the hanches. It's time for Dan Sintz. He's been gone for a while, learning new dances, and he returns this week with his best ever interview.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Dancing Around the Issues. I'm your host, Dan Sintz. Today we're joined by Bob Sisson. Bob, thank you for joining us today on the program, sir.
It's good to be here, man. Nice to see you.
Now, we always start off, as everybody knows on the program, we always start off just to get our blood flowing a little bit. We always start off with a little bit of a song. And I don't know about you, but me, I'm feeling a little swingy today. Not like swinger. I don't want to clarify. Not like sharing wife type thing, but rather the swing music. So here we go. Someone at the door.
I can't believe it. Then he left the house.
All right. Sorry about that. It appears as if we are now out of time.
Okay, well, exit on the starboard side, everyone. Pirate Ron bidding you a farewell and safe sailings. Oh, and you gonna check out the Patreon? We have a great fake interview and some Butch action, and also Patreon fucked stuff up and caused us to lose about 50 patrons. So go support so we get enough gold to go to the market. My dick is 1 inch soft.
Go.